So, as you recall, we have been reading from Hope from the Flowers by Trina Paws. And we're all the way to chapter 4. We just don't know yet what's happening to these caterpillars. So, chapter 4. Yellow was desperate without strife. She crawled daily to the pile looking for him and returned at home at night sad, but half relieved that she never saw him. If she had, she feared she might plunge after him, knowing that she shouldn't. She felt like doing something, anything, rather than this uncertain waiting. What in the world do I really want? She sighed. It seems different every few minutes. But I know there must be more. Finally, she became numb and wandered away from everything familiar. One day, a gray-haired caterpillar hanging upside down on a branch surprised her. He seemed caught in some hairy stuff. You seem in trouble, she said. Can I help? No, my dear. Her whole insides leapt. Butterfly. That word, she thought. Tell me, sir, what is a butterfly? It's what you are meant to become. It flies with beautiful wings and joins the earth to heaven. It drinks only nectar from the flowers and carries the seeds of love from one flower to another. Without butterflies, the world would soon have few flowers. It can't be true, gasped Yellow. How can I believe there's a butterfly inside you or me when all I see is a fuzzy worm? How does one become a butterfly? She asked pensively. You must want to fly so much that you're willing to give up being a caterpillar. You mean to die? Asked Yellow, remembering the 3 who fell out of the sky. You remember that from last week? Okay. Yes and no, he answered. What looks like you will die, but what's really, you will still live. Life is changed, not taken away. Isn't that different from those who die without ever becoming butterflies? And if I decide to become a butterfly, said Yellow hesitantly, what do I do? Watch me. I'm making a cocoon. It looks like I'm hiding, I know, but a cocoon is no escape. It's an in-between house where the change takes place. It's a big step since you can never return to caterpillar life. During the change, it will seem to you or to anyone who might peek that nothing is happening. But the butterfly is already becoming. It just takes time. And there's something else. Once you are a butterfly, you can really love. The kind of love that makes new life. It's better than all the hugging that caterpillars do. Oh, let me go and get Stripe, Yellow said. But she sadly knew he was too far into the pile to possibly reach. Don't be sad, said her new friend. If you change, you can fly and show him how beautiful butterflies are. Maybe he will want to become one too. Yellow was torn in anguish. What if Stripe comes back and I'm not there? What if he doesn't recognize my new self? Suppose he decides to stay a caterpillar. At least we can do something as caterpillars. We can crawl and eat. We can love in some way. How can 2 few cocoons get together at all. How awful to get stuck in a cocoon. How could she risk the only life she knew when it seemed so unlikely she could ever be a glorious winged creature? What did she have to go on? Seeing another caterpillar who believed enough to make his own cocoon, and that peculiar hope which had kept her off the pillar and leapt within her when she heard about butterflies. The gray-haired caterpillar continued to cover himself with silky threads. As he wove the last bit around his head, he called, "You'll be a beautiful butterfly. We're all waiting for you." And Yellow decided to risk for a butterfly. For courage, she hung right beside the other cocoon and began to spin her own. Imagine, I didn't even know I could do this. That's some encouragement that I'm on the right track. If I have inside me the stuff to make cocoons, maybe the stuff of butterflies is there too. And we will continue next week. I always like it when there's a little groan there. That's good. So, from our readings this morning, the younger son went off in search of a better life. How many of us have done that? Sometimes it works out. Sometimes it doesn't. In his case, it didn't work out very well. Now our friend Stripe also went off. He took the risk for something better. We don't know yet what happened to Stripe. I guess we'll find out next week. But we all take risks with our lives. All of us. Just about every decision we make is a risk. You know, some risks are very small. Do I buy gas at this station or at that station? You know, the risk may be only a couple of cents per gallon, or whether you have to make a left turn or a right turn into the station. Should I make fish or veggies for dinner? You notice I didn't say steak. The risk may be that my spouse likes one better than the other. Do I hit the snooze button one extra time? Yeah, I see a lot of nods. Yeah. If so, I may be late for work. You know, these are small risks with generally small repercussions, really small things. If it doesn't work out, okay, no big deal. But some risks are bigger, like running a red light when a semi-truck is coming down the road. That's a risk. Yelling at the boss when our jobs are already at risk. Joining the military during war. These are risky decisions. The question is the risk worth the possible results? Is the positive possibility worth more to you, to me, to us, than the negative possibility? And maybe the answer to that lies in what we are each called to do, what we are each created to be at this time. Because it may be different from what we were created to be 10 years ago, 20 years ago, years ago. Now our friend Stripe is climbing the caterpillar pillar. He sees the risk as worth it. He really wants to know what is at the top. And he really feels that this is his calling in life. So he joins the masses. On the other hand, Yellow seems to have a different calling. She feels the pull toward the pillar, especially since Stripe has become part of it. But the pull toward something else, maybe something better, something more fulfilling, is stronger. She also has to take a risk, the risk of the unknown, the risk that requires trust. She trusts what the gray caterpillar tells her. And she risks building a cocoon, or at least she's up on the branch hanging there right now. Now the prodigal son, the one who took his inheritance and went off to find fun and fortune, is a lot like Stripe. The world outside one's neighborhood is intriguing and alluring. Many of us step out into that unknown, believing that there is something better out there. Sometimes believing that there has to be something better out there. And often we find what we're looking for. There is something better. But sometimes our vision is much, much better than the reality. The prodigal found this out and ended up coming home. His brother, on the other hand, is much like Yellow. He stayed home and found satisfaction in what he had. Still, it's clear, very much like Yellow, that he wondered what was out there. And in the end, he found that he was better off staying home, even if he was jealous of his brother's homecoming. So we need to consider, each of us, are we more like Yellow or are we more like Stripe? Are we the prodigal or are we his stay-at-home brother? In any case, what we really need to know is that it's possible to come home. It's possible to come home to God. A favorite hymn of mine says, "Come in and be at home with our God." Actually, I think it says, come in, be at home with our God. Maybe the message today is that we can take our risks. We can take our risks. We can seek our passions. But we can always, always find home. We can always, always find